Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Sunday Musicians Café. Today we have a special guest because he's Italian like me, so just for that he's already very special. I'm very happy that this project is carry on quite well, and I received many feedbacks from last interviews with Federico, and was a special guest as well, another Italian. So I didn't do it on purpose, I guess, to have two Italians in a row. But today we have Dimitri Scarlato, which is a professor at Royal College of Music in London, and I met him exactly there, precisely, and saying hi to Isravio 87 from Canary Islands. Hi. And I will wait just a couple of minutes, maybe a couple of seconds, even better, to check if everything is all right, if you can hear me, if you can see me properly. I'm really excited for this episode with Dimitri, which I was saying is a professor of Royal College, and he studied composition. And I didn't know actually, but he studied also piano and violin. So he started his musical career with violin and the piano. So that would be very interesting to see also his point of view on the violin. And I worked with him on a couple of projects, and more than a couple, once in college, and also once we worked together in Angel Studios. It was a very nice project, recording some compositions from his students, and very good film music, and he will tell us more about film music and what is it, what is music production in general, and how is his experience? How was his experience with Sorrentino as well? So you will see he's very special guest, and is a very good friend of mine as well. And we are involved together in a couple of projects for music, and culture. He will tell us. So I will invite him now to the chat, and we'll start this episode. I hope everyone is enjoying his Sunday and having a cup of coffee together with us. Dimitri?
Yes. Can you see me?
You should turn the camera. Just turn it in selfie mode. Fantastic.
Wait. No, sorry, it's the camera too high, probably. No.
It's just the selfie mode, so you have to touch it.
Yep. Yeah. Sorry.
No problem. Nice to see you, man. How are you? All good?
I'm okay. Let me try to adjust
Yes.
this for you.
Of course. Where are you at the moment? In London or in Rome?
I'm in London, yeah.
Amazing. So you're enjoying the nice end of summer, English end of summer, which is always raining and and not actually very summer-like.
Yes, but come on, we had a really hot summer in London, no?
True.
Compared
It's
to
true.
you.
What are you drinking? Coffee?
Coffee, of course.
Amazing. You're on the team of coffee. I love it. I absolutely love it.
No
So many
way.
people are drinking water.
No way. Coffee teams is always the best team.
Nice, man. So as I was saying to people that are joining us today in this little little project I'm doing, we met in college for the first time, and you're still a professor there, and you're teaching there, and running so many things at the same time. I don't know how you find the time, man. You have so much energy. How do you find the time?
I don't know. Generally, lack of sleep is a good, helper.
Yes, but it's not very healthy, man. How do you do that?
I exercise. I drink lots of alcohol, and that's help. No, I'm joking. Yeah, I don't know. I think if you have a passion for something, then you find the energy.
It's true. It's true, absolutely. And you have actually a lot of passion for what you do. And I can confirm this on all the projects I've done with you. It's been always a very, such a pleasure to receive the feedback, the energy feedback from you. And you pass the vibe, and, it's always it's very enjoyable to work with you. So
Thanks.
I'm talking facts. So I'm really serious about that. So let's give people a bit of your background, because I think you have a very good story to tell us, and your journey in the music is quite particular. So would you like to tell us like some key moments of your life, encounters, experiences that changed maybe your life in a better sense, or also in a negative sense, if you would like to?
Well, I'm what we say in Italy, a son of art, meaning that my father was a composer as well, and he was teaching the conservatory in Rome. He was just doing contemporary classic music. And so I started playing piano when I was 5, violin when I was 6. However, I really hated music. I didn't have a great relationship with my father. And I remember that I think I was really a great nightmare for my teachers until I gave up at the age of 12 because I wanted to be a footballer. But being pretty shit footballer, so then I tried as a goalkeeper. It was better, but then then a key moment was when my brother, they lent him a keyboard. We're talking about the 90s, the Stone Age, and so I had this keyboard. So the Korg M1 was the keyboard that everyone had it at the time. So I started messing around with this keyboard, and I have to say I was lucky enough that one student of my father, they started working with keyboards, with MIDI in the 80s, was really into more commercial music. He just told my mom, why don't you send him to my studio? So I remember did my first cassette, these old things of the time, and with 5 compositions and with no knowledge. And then he said to me, listen, Ma, if you like composing, you should study, start studying piano, etc., etc. So that's how I started. And then I enrolled in conservatory in Rome, but because I also had a big passion for jazz, and I was playing in bands, I was running for these bands, I was playing also in reggae bands or indie rock bands, writing songs. So then I studied outside conservatory jazz, and I was doing also university philosophy, because in Italy at the time, in order to be exempt for military service, you had to attend universities. Conservatory wasn't counting. So I was doing the conservatoire and the university, but because it's not compulsory attending university, I was basically doing the academic year and conservatoire, and then during the summer I was giving the exams at university. So yes, I'm used to be, working in many different things.
I'm exactly the same. I'm exactly the same. I was always doing a parallel path, like the school. Nowadays, you know that in Italy the conservatoire is equal to.
No, I know, because
to
I was a student representative when the reformations or the postgraduate studies happened in Italy. So I was caught in the middle of both the conservatoires and with the uni.
Yeah.
And the conservatoires, actually, we formed the collective or representatives for all the conservatoires in Italy, because we are fighting some things that were at the beginning quite badly handled by the government. So we work for a better reformation. And then something that, I always wanted to work in films. I had a passion of films, and however, I started working in theater when I was in my early 20s. I was still a student, because a guy that I've met during a piano exam, he phoned me and said, listen, I've been called to play in this show with dancers, it's cabaret. I don't want to do it. It's not, I'm an artist. I don't do this kind of stuff. You want to do it? Then I did the audition. I did it. And I began my career in theater. So I worked constantly for 3-4 solid years as a pianist and as composer while I was studying the conservatoire. And then eventually I was still trying to get opportunities in films, but Rome at the time was different. So in conservatoire, film music was considered like a B-level music. You had to be a contemporary classic composer, and either you write really avant-garde music, otherwise you were looked, upon, like you would look badly. And then I remember I was doing this big show with a big musical, and having issues, although with the producer. And then I said, I was in Florence, and I said, I need to get out of Italy. So I applied to all the conservatory in London, the usual ones. But then, because it was January, no one allowed, I mean, college and academy went allowed the time late application. So I applied to Guildhall, because also I liked the fact that Guildhall had also a drama department. And then it was the years of, Lord of the Rings, so Orlando Bloom had just left there, and there was a famous Italian actress, Maya Sansa, that had been in Guildhall. So I said, okay, let's go to Guildhall, it's going to be cool. And so I applied, and I was offered a place and a scholarship, and I went to London.
Wow.
And then from
Wow.
yeah.
That's actually very, very nice journey. I mean, you said you got lucky when you were a kid with the keyboard and stuff, and maybe also with the later application in Guildhall. But I guess the basic of it, I mean, the fundamentals of it is your talent, no? So they wouldn't give you a scholarship if you didn't have that talent. Also, you said something that I think is good to say again, because it's still like this, I think, in Italy. To be honest, they still see the film music as a plan B.
Well, I have to say, I've returned a few times to conduct some contemporary music concert with students, and also I've also led a master class in Florence, and I have to say that there is a much growing interest, and also now in conservatory, we've got jazz classes, we've got it's called, composition for screen classes, so
it's getting better. Yeah.
It's changed, definitely it's changed. Yeah. What was interesting that when I came to London, it was to pursue my interest in film music, and instead, interestingly, I discovered the interest in contemporary classical music. Because what was interesting about London, I always see as a bridge between Europe and the US. So in US, the avant-garde music, it was dominated at the time by minimalism, not only, but let's say that the average new music is pretty much tonal, quite easy listening, except for some, there is everything, but predominantly is that. In continental Europe, we had extreme avant-garde, and instead in London was this, this milieu, this middle place where everything was happening. And so I felt more free to discover and to be interested in contemporary classical music. It was nice in concert, you really could have anything. So from tonal music to Lachenmann style, etc., and I really enjoyed it. And I have to say, my first year in London in Guildhall, it was a beautiful year, very intense, because we had it was 1 year masters. So we had 5 fixed projects. Then in addition to that, I put on an opera. It was me and another colleague, Ellen Mirdin, and we did a double bill opera. So we booked the room and we found the players, everything else. And then I was collaborating a lot with the drama department. We had to do this kind of improvisations in Guildhall. And I reached out to the film schools. And I remember I started working with the students from London film schools.
Wow.
And yeah. And I have to say, I have an interesting anecdote, because the music consultant of London Film School at the time, Rodney Newton, when I was like 9 months, I was in London, I didn't know where to go. And so I just sent this random emails with, let's say, not the best written English. And I remember it was getting back to me saying, listen, I listen to your music, I listen to your CD, but your English is not good, so I can't allocate you to any director, because then you would understand what they wanted. Yeah. And I remember getting so pissed off, and I say, listen, but I know, I've done a master's here, and I think I managed to understand everything. So I saw like this obstacle. But then he contacted me again at the end of the same year, because he said, listen, I got this American director that, he doesn't like any of the direct of the composer giving to him. And London Film School was already collaborating with Royal College of Music. Wow. So So they said, I'm desperate, try to do something with him. So I met with this American director. He came to the house of residence where I was living, Herrywood House in Camberwell Green. It was an interesting place. And we hooked on straight away. And so I scored all of his short films. And then after that, I scored lots of other short films from students from LFS, because they saw the music I was doing for him. And that was how I cut my teeth in scoring for films.
I see. Yes. So you would consider that like the encounter that changed your life in a way, basically,
What
because
saved
basically
my life? I
no
would say no, but it was the first. Yeah,
change, like it
yeah.
changed the
It was the first beginning. I think it's in my life. What I learned that I always had to be persistent to get things, especially since I moved to London because when I was in Rome, I mean, it was my hometown, so everything was pretty easy to me and things happened. But I was also, I grew up in an environment, so I think it's easier when you're in an environment.
Mm.
Moving to different country and with such an international environment with lots of people that want to do what you want to do becomes more difficult. And so I learned the resilience and persistence and also, not giving up even with
Yes.
this in LFS, that it was a no, 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 and then eventually they said, "Listen, we need someone. Why don't you try?"
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you in London, I think this everybody with a bit of goodwill will learn this kind of approach to resist and don't give up. I think London is a good place to learn that. But going from there, you then had a good opportunity in your life, and I would like you to tell us more about it. To work with Michael Caine
Yeah,
and for the Sorrentino's movie, right?
yeah,
The Youth. How was
yeah.
that?
So
How was that?
that was an amazing experience because never in my life I would imagine that I would have worked as conducting coach for Michael Caine. So what was happening is that there's a guy, is a recording engineer who records most of Italian soundtracks. And every time he was coming to London for a project, he would contact me for, helping fixing orchestras or studios or translating new recording sessions. So I think it was 2011, and he contacted me and he said, "Listen, Sorrentino, I just won an Oscar for the best foreign film with a Great Beauty." And then he told me, Dimitri, it was probably 2012. We were doing this film and we need an orchestra in London, we need a choir, and also we need a conductor to assist Michael Caine during the shooting. And so I started sourcing things for him. And then, I mean, obviously, I'm more of a composer than a conductor. And
Mm.
so I've done lots of projects, student projects, recording sessions, but I didn't have a pedigree as conductor. And so initially, the production said, "Now we want to go with someone that is British, has more experience," and so they find someone, etc. Then what happened is that while I was still looking for the choir and the orchestra, also the same guy, the record engineer, said, "Dimitri, do you want to conduct the choir on set?" Yeah, that's fine if they need it. But then eventually this didn't work out as well, so they get just the choir director from the choir. They wanted to be
Mm.
there. And then, so it seemed that I was just finding an orchestra for them and just finding players. But then he contacted me again and he said, "Dimitri," he said, we need a coach to be on set when Michael Caine plays with the candy wrapper."
Mm.
And I said, "Are you joking?" "No, no, no, no. The composer has written 5 pieces with his candy wrapper and it's an important scenes and they need a coach for Michael Caine." And then I said, "Okay." And then if this happens, happens. So
Well, I mean,
no,
I
because at
think
some point I was telling him because he was trying to push me to do coach on many levels, and then the production was always saying no. Then I said, "Listen, but what's going on? Why there's always this no? I mean, if something has to happen, happens. But why they're so against me?" And then I said, "No, no, because when I mentioned this, there was another composer that was, also in the room, and he said, 'Oh, I want to be the coach,' and he started to,
yeah.
push himself. So
Yes,
obviously,
yes.
you don't make names. But then, so I started being coach on set, and it was really seriously, I was just saying left, right, turn the candy
Yeah.
wrapper, and so,
Yes, yes.
and it was supposed to be once only. So I go there, and Michael Caine didn't look at anything,
Okay.
didn't record anything to do it.
Okay.
So I start shooting, and so we find the way to do it is then off camera, I was telling him loud what to do.
Okay.
After this first scene, the assistant director says to me, "You need to come for all the scenes." So I go to all the scenes, go 5 times Switzerland. It was an amazing, and I bet, there was Paul Dano, Harvey Keitel. I got also a few gaffes, I can tell you, Michael Caine, Rachel Weisz. So it was really an amazing environment.
Wow.
And then eventually I was known. I mean, I got to know all the crew, and they were laughing at me. When they say, "Oh, left, right, turn the wrapping paper," because it seemed ridiculous, but still, it was really helpful. And then eventually, there was a scene where Michael had to conduct the nature in the forest, and so they contacted me and they said, "Listen, Dimitri, you have to do this because the coach." Apparently the coach, there was the official coach, couldn't do it or can't do it. I said, okay, I'll do it. So I was caught on the spot because it was like if I just finished shooting one scene. So I have a look at this scene. I talked to the composer, David Lang, very nice American composer, lovely. So I started analyzing the scene, and then the following morning, they assigned to me to one assistant director. I said, now prepare this scene, and then you show it to Paolo, to Sorrentino, and we'll decide how to go. Okay, fair enough. So I prepare like 5, 6 different videos how to do it, this scene.
Yes.
And then during lunch break, they said, okay, now you're going to see Paolo. But then they said, no, we're busy, nothing. Then during the afternoon, every break, they said, no, next, later. What happened during that day? There was a big scene at a restaurant. And let's say that the director got angry. So it was really tense. So at the end of the day, at the end of the shooting, so I arrived there and I go to the director and said, show me what you're doing. And then I show the different videos. No, show me directly what you think is best. So this one here. Okay, fair enough. See you tomorrow. Talk to the composer and see you tomorrow. The following day,
it's so stressful. Only hearing about
it.
It's so stressful.
The following morning, I got there. I go, so Michael, we're in the forest. You know the famous scene when he conducts, the forest in the open air, beautiful. So I go, Michael. So this is, 1, 2, 3, and then he was doing 1, 2, 3. So obviously, he had no clue of what to do. Then I was still trying to teach him how to do, basic pattern of 3 or 4. Sorrentino comes and says, no, stop rehearsing, because Michael gives his best when he's acting. So come on, action. I said, Sorrentino, Paolo, you're joking. He said, we still don't worry. So I realized that Michael Caine is a really visual person. So I said, Michael, if you look at me, and can you copy me? And he was copying me. So I realized I conducted upside down. So instead of doing, the 1, 2, 3, I was doing like with the left 1, 2, 3, so that when he was copying me, it was in the right direction for the camera. I was off camera and I was telling him what to do, always with a millisecond in advance. And then we managed to shoot the scene very quickly. And then eventually also, I also helped for the final scene when he conducted the full orchestra, and I was behind the scene conducting really in the opposite direction, imagining that, on the left I got double bass, cello, viola, second violin, first violin, and then he was looking at the camera, and when I was behind the scene. And then I met, Victoria Mollova, Sumi Joe. It was a very unique experience.
Wow.
Sorry.
No, I mean, this is, no. I mean, I would listen to this story over and over again because it's such a wonderful experience you had. Also, Michael Caine, I mean, he's an incredible actor, and I absolutely love him. Recently, I think I've been looking at some interviews that he had, and, some also coaching of acting that he had. And he has such practical tips, like the eye in the camera, like don't blink, these kind of tips that I was like, wow. I mean, this guy knows a lot, and you can see that he has like a craft.
No, but
really.
Also, it was nice when I went to his place when we're preparing the final scene, and then he was saying, I went to the war because everyone went to the war at the time, the war in Korea, and then when I got back, I said, I want to be an actor, I want to be the best that I can possibly be.
Yes.
And it was it was very nice, very lovely man.
Lovely. I mean, I hope you're gonna have more encounters of this caliber, because I think that your character and also your temper probably is good for this kind of situations, because it's obviously very stressful for some people,
in films and production, you need to be able to fix problems quickly, not to create problems. And so obviously my various experiences helped me. And I had the same experience because then I was called a couple of years ago to be a coach of Chevalier. There's this film that's been released now about the Afro-American composer and violin player, I think in the 17th century. They did this big film. And so I was coach of
Yes,
another,
yes.
I was coach of another actor, Henry Lloyd Hughes, that I think his scenes have been cut from the film. I haven't watched it. And again, too, I remember that there's been a couple of moments where I had to give tips to make sure that everything was working fine. Because
Yes,
again,
yes.
you need to
To be
sort
quick.
problems out.
Yeah, you need to be quick, fast, and very precise on what you say.
But this,
I
going back
guess it's
to
yeah.
what you said at the beginning, it comes back also to when you do recording
Yeah.
session. When you do recording session, you got a limited amount of time, and you know that every minute is a huge amount of money, and you need to get what you really want. You need to be able to a fast thinker,
Yes,
and
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
find
Absolutely.
what can be saved, what's the best thing to do instead of staying 1 hour over the same
Yes, yeah,
passage.
absolutely. No, in fact, I remember that. I mean, I've been leading orchestras in my life
Yeah,
a bit, and in the Angel with you, it was very. I knew that I had to be firm and on some decisions, like you don't have the time to actually look at the passage. Sometimes you say, okay, we cut this until here, and that's it, and we do these bowings, and that's it. And very little questioning, but also at the same time, you have to keep. Our role as a violinist, we have to be in the middle between the conductor and also the orchestra. So we have to be very like diplomats,
yeah.
diplomats. So in a way, I like it very much, and I with you it was very enjoyable. So because you have this fast thinking that I like, and also you are very good on. I mean, just jumping from one topic to another, just to let the people know that you are very active in a lot of things. You are very active in politics and activism in general. So you've been doing many things related to culture and
Great.
music.
Yeah.
And can you tell us a bit more about how music can be, not specifically on all the projects you're doing and stuff, because I guess it would take too long, but how music can be a mean for a cultural development in politics as well?
Oh man, that's a big question. That can be answered quickly. And
Fast thinking, fast thinking.
so, can you rephrase the question? How can music
Yes,
be?
how can music be a mean for politics in general? Like how you can help politics to do their job through music, no culture in general. So,
I think culture in general, more than music,
mm,
it's often in many governments and Western governments, the first thing that gets cut is culture and support to music and arts. If you think of what happened here during COVID, the government would say, "Oh, you should retrain and think to do another degree." And uh, I think that probably the artists we can have a political impact with what they do. And obviously, in music, it depends on the topics that you're treating. It's not just what you say. If you are a pop star and a rock star, obviously you can have an influence with so
mm,
many people because you have a voice that it's heard, and what you say can be a greater influence, especially in youngsters. In other areas, you can still write political plays. They can also share lights about some events. And in music too, the topics that you treat. If there is a fil rouge on your music albums, or you're writing an opera that treats contemporary topics. Let's not forget our beloved Wagner, that it was highly political,
mm.
then whether you like it or not. And so I think that there's lots that can be done actively and not actively. Not necessarily you need to be involved in politics to have an impact. And
Mm.
even the work that music does with youngsters, giving an instrument to in the private areas and try to teach music to kids that don't have the possibility to see the instruments, or using music technology to get kids out of the gangs and make them create music. So
Mm.
yes, in a broader sense, also socially, music can be a good resource.
Yes, I mean, you just touched a very important thing that I guess when we talk about politics and activism in general for society, and to what we mean really is like to help society to grow in a better way, right? So on a very basic level, but actually is what we are trying to do. And music, I think, as you said, can be an alternative to many other paths or ways of living that people wouldn't realize its actual possible alternative. Because so often, this is my opinion, but I think it's quite close to reality, that so often we think and we experience that classical music, or in general approaching music, is expensive, and it's it's something that you cannot afford, when actually if the government helps on that side with a very little effort, could really help the society to break this barrier. What do you think?
No, I'm gonna talk about a personal experience, because before coming to the college, for my role as area leader in composition for screen for the masters, I taught for quite a few years in secondary school in London, in Islington, and this was a school that was, it went to dispatches. There was this famous program on Channel 5 because it was a really rough and violent school with lots of issues. And then there was this head of music, head of school, had mistress that changed slowly, turned around. So we created a musical program, and we became outstanding compared to being assessed by Ofsted. And then Angelo Weber got interested and created a foundation. And so we gave an instrument to each single kids in year 9, 10, and 11. Or 7, 8, 9, and then with that, I remember I was the arranger for the school orchestra, so we were often doing pop songs written for orchestra, and we did like 3 times collaboration with the National Youth Orchestra that was coming over. So I remember I was writing for these massive scores, so challenging parts for the students from the London, from the National Youth Orchestra, easy part for our students, and then it was this orchestra of 100 people playing pop songs, and it was really, and it had actually. I think one of the first students that come from a Caribbean descent in college was a student I used to teach in the school. That through these programs he managed to have 3 lessons in cello, 3 lessons in flute, and then he did A levels with me. And then eventually was offered a place as a flute player. And I think he finished his master last year or this year. They're on white. That he went on to do, and is doing a very good career as flute player. So at first I thought, oh man, what's this impact? In reality, even if you touch one kid, oh sorry,
no problem. No, you're absolutely right. Even if you touch
one kid, you're doing something.
Yes, that's true. That's the real activism. So you can say you've been active in society through music. You see, I mean, that was my question. You answered amazingly. Okay, and also, I mean, you said that you were, you arranged many parts and for this kind of occasions. But also, you just released an album, right, on your original voice, Voci and Colors.
No, it's quite old. It was like 15 years ago. It was a jazz experiment when I was trying to do jazz. Yeah.
Okay, how is it going now with music production in general? You find yourself time to produce?
I'm working on a new album because my strength and my weakness is that I like to do many things. But however, yes, I'm working on a new album. My latest album, I think I released 2 years ago. It was Colors, that you can find on Spotify, and
nice.
So I was looking for trio, cello, piano, accordion. And I would like to do something that is more, on the line of what I'm doing with film, so more with electronics and still some live instruments. And I'm also exploring some collaborations. So yeah.
Very nice, very nice. I wish you the best and good luck. We have to conclude this chat because it's always like half an hour, and I know you're very busy as well, so we had to move actually before today, as many people noticed. But because Dimitri, I'm so glad also. Thank you so much that you
been a pleasure.
That you were able to do this. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye. See you, Dimitri. Bye bye. What an incredible guest, and I'm really glad that he was able to share with us his experience in life, and with the incredible encounter with Michael Caine and Paolo Sorrentino, and all his activism, so powerful activism from really the bottom of his heart, and that was really good, and really a good example of what it means to be active in society. And when you really want to do something good for society, and as musicians, we have to find a way to probably give music and give the possibility to everybody to listen to music and to play. And the fact that a student of his, when he was teaching in the secondary school, graduated from Royal College last year, and he went through all of this journey with him in the, you know, with the help of the government and everything, and, you know, effort from the teachers and he himself, is so nice. It's really nice. And as he said, even if you touch one person, if you touch one life, it's already enough. And that, I think, is one of the best suggestions that he could leave us with. And yes, I hope you enjoyed this chat. And please follow Dimitri if you didn't do it yet. And have a look on his works out that you can listen to now on all the platforms, on Spotify Colors, I guess. It's called. And yes, he has a website, incredible website, where you can find all his bio and all his amazing experiences. And if you pop out in London, for sure you can find him in the Royal College as well. Thank you so much for staying with me, and see you next Sunday for another episode of Sunday Musicians Café.